What's up, everybody? Music City Driver here, otherwise known as Chris, coming at you from Nashville live. October the 14th, 2017, Saturday night. I'm in a drive-thru right now. I'm going to McDonald's and I'm getting something to eat because this night has been kind of stressful and frustrating, I guess. It's about 11:23. I've been at it since about I left the house at 6:45, so I got a really late start today. I'm about 5 hours in. I finished my 65 rides. I'm at 66 rides actually right now. Got my acceptance rating up to 90%. Got all that stuff done. Guess what? As I suspected, I got some really good prime times a little bit earlier. I had a prime time. The poor lady actually felt really bad for her, honestly. I picked her up in West Nashville on the way in, like Sylvan Park area, and she was going over to 5 Points in East Nashville, and this was about 7:30 or so. And if anybody is here in Nashville, you realize that the TSU homecoming game had just probably let out about that point. So getting to East Nashville was nigh impossible, and it took forever and going around several different routes to even get past there. So like I said, I'm in a drive-thru right now. I'm the fourth car to the window, so at some point I will have to interact with the cashier just to let you know. I know it's bad for me, but you know what? That's what I got to do. So like I said, I felt bad for her because it was 100% prime time and it took forever, and it was already a decent ride going from West Nashville to East Nashville, but just I don't know, guys. I got to give you guys props that do this full time, because honestly I'm not sure I could. I have done 66 rides for really loud cars. It's crazy tonight here in Nashville, so it's kind of hard to drive around, actually. I love you too, buddy. So my wife and my son are watching me, I guess, live. So I am at a McDonald's off of Fessler's Lane. Actually, not the best part of town, I suppose, but it was the closest one to me. I dropped two really nice people off, actually. One was a lady from northern Sweden, and one was a guy from southern England. So it's pretty cool. We got into a conversation about snus, which I do use Swedish snus all the time, and they gave me a portion from Sweden. So it's pretty awesome. Scruff brand, which I've had before. I used to order it directly from Sweden and all that stuff. So, okay. I meant to get to the point there. Sorry, I got interrupted by my wife and my son. But I got a little bit off track there. So get back on track here real quick. So, like I said, I completed the 65 rides. I got 90% acceptance. There was no hourly requirement. So, guess what? $8.95 was what was promised, that I would earn at least that in ride payments, etc. So, after all that, and stressing out about last night, about not making 4 more rides and the wreck and all that stuff, I now have a total of $937.75. So I will not get any extra money. So how's that for irony? So all that, and I don't get any extra money, but I did get, I don't know, $18, $19 from some average hourly guarantees, I guess, just because I kept my acceptance rating at 90%. I'll see you tomorrow, buddy. Tomorrow I'm definitely taking the day off. They sent me another, like I said, they sent me another weekly guarantee from Lyft just yesterday, I believe it was, for $825 and 60 rides. I don't think I'll be doing it because, first of all, I now know it's possible, and I now know it's almost impossible to get extra free money from it, because I think that, and honestly, it's not really a bad thing, because it kind of proved to me that I can make it on mostly Lyft alone. I've only done like 16 Uber rides all week, and I've done like 66 Lyft rides. So, made a pretty substantial amount of money on there too. Had a lot of tips, way more tips than I ever get on Uber. I really hadn't had any or not many cash tips at all. What I have been getting, I've been just kind of like getting dinner and stuff like that. But I've gotten $91 so far. That was as before I left on Lyft for tips. $91 in tips. That's pretty awesome. I got $15 in cancellation fees as well, which didn't count towards the amount that I made, but still, it's an extra $15 in my pocket for people that didn't show up, which is a lot better than Uber, because Uber, the $5 turns into $3.60 most of the time for Excel rides, and $3.75 for every other platform for Select and X. So, I mean, Uber even takes their cut off of your freaking cancellation fees. I don't know. It's just, I'm getting pretty disillusioned with Uber at this point, especially now that I have been driving for Lyft almost exclusively this entire week. I'm not saying I'm just going to totally give up, but I feel like I might just supplement Lyft with Uber instead of the other way around. Before, I always supplemented Uber earnings with Lyft, and I really haven't had that many. I mean, I've had my app on quite a few times for Uber, and I just don't seem to be getting any rides, and it's crazy outside. I kind of have been in some odd places, but actually I've kind of intentionally done that because I'm trying to avoid Broadway at all costs, because it is a total, excuse my French, shit show down there right now. There have been all kinds of shootings apparently, and I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. So I'm getting some food at McDonald's. I'm probably gonna sit in the parking lot eat it because the inside part is not open. And I'm gonna kind of chill for a minute. There's a lot of primetime and surge popping off, but I just can't go back into it right this second. I gotta ease myself into it. This week really kind of stressed me out. It honestly wasn't that bad actually before I had the wreck. That really stressed me out. So I'm really needing tomorrow off. Monday night is Monday Night Football here in Tennessee, in Nashville. The Indianapolis Colts are playing the Tennessee Titans here. It's supposed to be a lot of money. Also a lot of traffic and a lot of headache probably. So I don't know. I'll decide. I'll make a game time decision on whether I'm going to drive on for Monday Night Football here in Nashville that night, because it just seems like it's going to be a huge headache. I don't know. It probably more than it's worth. More of a headache than it's worth. So I'm interested to see. I think Mike made his weekly guarantee, which is cool. Sorry, I got to interact with the drive-through person real quick here. I'll give him my card, pay for my food real quick. What was that, a bottle?
No, just Coke.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you got a double quarter.
No onions.
Okay.
Double quarter, no onions, medium of Coke. Yep. Okay. Sorry. Finishing out my order there. Sorry. Life of an Uber driver. Going to random drive-thrus wherever you are, wherever you happen to be when you get tired.
There you go.
Thank you. Have a good night, man. There's a plastic bottle in the drive-thru that I've run over. It sounded like I was running over something bad at first, but the guy said it was just a Coke bottle or something. So somebody threw their Coke bottle randomly in the drive-thru. So, well, yeah, my wife, she said a little bit ago, McDonald's is bad for me, but, you know, man's got to eat. At this time of night, there's not a whole lot of options, unfortunately. There's Burger King, McDonald's. Like I said, I went near my most recent drop-off. When am I going to come home? Probably not till in the morning, buddy. I'm going to make some more money tonight. I just had to start out slow and ease back into it because that wreck kind of shook my nerves a little bit. But I mean, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But I love you, buddy. Why aren't you in bed at 11:30, by the way? I'm just saying. You should be asleep by now. I mean, honestly, I should be too. But I'm out making money. But so got my ridiculously bad for me food. I got a double quarter pounder with no onions and the combo or whatever with a Coke. I probably should eat much better things, but I actually haven't eaten much all day. I grabbed a sandwich on the way at like 6 o'clock, but I'm really hungry now. It's been some really bad. I think Mike Ledbetter Mike Strange, I think is his YouTube name, mentioned that traffic has been way worse than normal. It's already bad most of the time here in Nashville. It's been horrible tonight.
What are we doing tonight?
Pretty good. About you?
Quarter pounder meal?
Yep.
Large.
Is that the double with no onions and a large chicken? Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Got my food. McDonald's drive-thru took a little bit longer than I expected, honestly. Said I'm not in the terribly best part of town here, but you know, hey, you do what you got to do sometimes. There's a kitty cat over here. Cute little kitty cat, actually. Looks like somebody's pet, maybe. But I don't know if you can see me very well or not. It's not too terribly dark, I suppose. So pick what up? No, we don't need more animals. Last count was what? 13, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 animals? Is that what we got? We don't need any more animals. We got 13 chickens, 4 dogs, 2 cats, a lizard, a bird, and 2 goats. I think that's enough. We don't have any really aquatic creatures, I suppose, but I'm going to roll up my window just so I don't get... Oh, I forgot about a horse, yeah. We got a horse, too. It's not at the house, though. So, I don't know if you guys really want to watch me eat, but I thought I'd give you an update. Some fresh fries. But now I got to air out the car a little bit before I start taking rides again. But I'm basically kind of conserving my energy because I feel like it's going to be a very trying night. What's up, Chuck? Seems like it's going to be a very trying night tonight for me. Luckily, my car is fine as far as running. Nobody's even mentioned it, so I don't think that anybody's even noticed that there's been a wreck at the front. It's actually not that bad. I mean, it knocked a little piece of the grill off, dented the bumper. The top right of the headlight is kind of cracked, and then the one edge of my hood is a little bent. Other than that, you really can't tell. I mean, it didn't knock any lights out. It didn't even knock my fog lights out, which was weird. I mean, when I got out, it was a little loose. I popped it back into place, and it's working. All the lights are working. All the signals are working. Everything's good to go on it. It's just cosmetic damage. The other person's car, no, it's way more than cosmetic damage. It was leaking fluids. The tire was bent at an odd angle. I'm pretty sure it broke a tie rod. No, I'm not going to do a video while I'm doing a ride, buddy. That's too much. I mean, I can technically, because Tennessee is a one-party consent state. But it's awkward. Plus that I can't do... The way I've got my setup right now, I'm doing this on my phone. And I can't use my phone. I don't have 2 phones right now. So, I can't do my phone and do YouTube Live and also accept rides. I guess I could get a ping and then go back to the live broadcast and then jump back into it after I got a ride. But I had to get the people to agree to it and all that stuff, and it's just kind of complicated, buddy. I know you want to see what it's like, but basically, it's easiest way to explain it. Holy cow! $107 ride, nice. So how far was that? I don't know where you are. Actually, I'm sorry, but basically, Hayden, what you do? Hayden is my son. So a stranger or a group of strangers requests a ride on either Lyft or Uber. I get the request if I'm the closest and or been on the longest. So in Uber, it's actually whoever's closest, basically. And some people have said it goes by ratings. I'm really honestly not sure on that. And then Lyft is basically the closest who has been online the longest. So then I get the request, and then I accept the request, and then I go to where the person is, and then I pick them up, or the group of them up, whichever it happens to be. And then, so a bunch of strangers get in your car, and then you drive them to their destination. West Palm Beach to Miami, drunks from the Oktoberfest. How many miles is that? I'm just not that familiar. I've never been to that part of Florida ever. I've been to the Panhandle only. Well, I've been to Orlando, but that doesn't really count. But because I was a kid and I didn't drive anywhere. But I've been to the Panhandle of Florida. Is mostly where I've been. Pensacola, Panama City Beach, stuff like that. I'm gonna feed my face on here because I'm hungry. Anyway, I'm conserving my energy because I feel like it's going to be a very trying night with all the traffic. And there's probably going to be some passenger BS tonight. I can just feel it. I don't know why. I hardly ever have a problem with anybody. And everybody I've picked up tonight has been okay. But, I don't know, the town seems kind of edgy tonight. I don't know what the deal is, but it's apparently Mike Ledbetter, Mike Strange, on YouTube. I don't know what the origin of that name is, Mike Strange. But anyway, apparently he said there's been some shootings and stuff. So I have no idea what the hell is going on with that. 60 miles. Well, that's a pretty good little haul. Well, the cool thing is you're kind of going in between major cities, so you could get something back. Did you have to deadhead all the way back, or did you have a passenger on the way back? Sorry, anyway, it's kind of boring watching me sit here eat. I'm actually about to dig into this burger and get back to this. I feel like eating will kind of refocus me, give me a little time, a little bit of downtime, listen to some music and eat, and then head on out for another ride. Well, so the basic, I guess, point of this video was just to kind of illustrate that the Lyft guarantees rather, not bonuses. Nothing on the way back. I hate that. Yeah, the longest ride I ever had was from here to Huntsville, Alabama. It's 120 something miles, and there is no Uber in Alabama at all, or at least Huntsville. It wasn't. It may be now, but 9 months ago it wasn't. 8 months ago, something like that. I had to deadhead all the way back. Had no rides at all, and then went home. You don't speak Spanish? Is that a barrier there? I would assume it might be. Anyway, I'm probably going to get off here, but the origin of this, the point of this video is that the Lyft guarantees are kind of it's really a smart move on Lyft's part. I think they are making a very educated guess, which, I mean, they should. I mean, honestly, they're in business to make money. So why wouldn't you calculate very carefully to determine how much someone might make if they worked and did 65 rides in a week with a 90% acceptance, and they're on the Plus platform and the regular Lyft platform. So they did a really good job on calculating that, actually. So, I mean, like I said, I made over the guarantee, so they're not going to pay me any extra. But it accomplished several things. For Lyft, it accomplished me driving more. Therefore, more rides were taken. And maybe some people were... I mean, I have a 5-star rating on Lyft, and I have over 700 rides. Maybe it helps some people continue taking Lyft more because they enjoy their ride. Brought them some fees, obviously. And so, for me, the accomplishment was that I could do 65 rides in a week and work a full-time job at the same time. Not optimal, trust me, but it's possible. I probably could have finished it out last night or been very close, and that would have been 5 days. So to do 65 rides in 5 days is not too bad. So I roughly accomplished it in 5.5 days. And that tells me that Lyft is a viable option here in Nashville. It seems like it's been growing lately. And Uber has had the lion's share of the market for a long time here in Nashville. Even though Lyft came here first. Actually, that's a little tidbit that I found out recently. Lyft has been in Nashville, I think, since 2012, is what somebody told me. Don't know how true that is, but I think Lyft got here before Uber did, and now Uber has overtaken. But now I feel like Uber is losing ground because Uber is. I think it feels like Uber is hemorrhaging drivers to me because Nashville has these huge freaking surges that go up to like 4 and 5. That's 15 trips a day if you do 5 days. I don't understand what you mean by that. Sorry. So Nashville has these huge surges that you can sit in the middle of and not get a single request. And then at the same time, you look at Lyft, and the prime time is not nearly as high as the Uber. Oh, yeah. If I do 5 days. Yeah, 15 trips a day. I mean, it's not infeasible, I guess, to do that. Yesterday was the 16 I did. Lyft is slow in mass. When I started in February, I remember very clearly, actually, the first day that I drove for Lyft was February the 14th of this year, Valentine's Day. So that was the first day I was approved, and I was the first day that I was going to go out because I felt like it would be busy, and it ended up being pretty damn dead. But so at that point, good night, buddy. I love you too. So I started driving for Lyft in February, and it has definitely taken a back seat to Uber all this time, as evidenced by the number of rides that I have on each one. So I started January 30th with Uber. I have over 1,600 rides with Uber, and I started February 14th with Lyft, and I honestly don't know exactly at this point exactly the number, but it's over 700 rides at this point. Oh yeah. I mean, ride receipts, I've done almost $1,000, which is ridiculous. And I've only had, I had no, I didn't even have a plus rider, or did I have a plus ride earlier? I don't think I've even had a plus ride today. Again, I've had 3 plus rides all week in 66 trips. So that's honestly pretty impressive. I don't feel like if I had taken 66, I feel like if I had taken 66 Uber X rides and 3 Uber XL rides, I would not have made as much as I did. That's what I feel like. I may be wrong. You do half the trips on Uber for the same amount of trips. So you make half as much? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that Lyft pays better? Is that what I just want to clarify that's what you're saying. I think I took it that you meant that you do half the trips on Uber and still make the same amount of money, sort of. That Uber is better there. Okay. So Lyft is half as popular as Uber, is that what you're saying, basically? Okay. I got you. And that's actually, honestly, that's been the way Nashville has been. It has been almost a 2-to-1 ratio. Like for every 5 Uber or 10 Uber, let's make it an even number to make it easier. For every 10 Uber rides, I would usually only get 5 Lyfts. I have been intentionally not having the Uber app on and actually been turning down doing the no thanks button on a lot of Uber trips this week. Anyway, my food's getting cold. I got to get off of here for now, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in. I really do. I just had to, I've surpassed that 65 ride, and I just had to, give an update. 2.5 ratio. Wow. Lyft is getting better here. And like I said, I feel like I honestly feel that if I had taken 63 Uber X trips, and 3 Uber XL and or Select, either one, I pay about the same. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I feel like if I had done that, if I had done 63 Uber X and 3 Uber XL/Select, I feel like I would not have made as much money as I've made this week with Lyft. And that, to me, kind of is an eye-opening experience for me. It's always been kind of I've always kind of liked Lyft a little more. But I don't know if it's just, I've been trying to tease it out in my head. Oh, really? Yeah, they would lose money if there's not a busy market. I've been trying to tease it out in my head why I like Lyft so much better. Because it seems kind of silly to me to think that Lyft people are just nice. And another thing that I feel like is a misconception is that Lyft people only use Lyft and never use Uber. Most of the time, people use both the apps. They compare. I'm hot. That's the appeal. Thanks, baby. I love you. But yeah, I like Lyft better. I think it's just, I don't know, like I said, it kind of doesn't make sense to me because most people use both apps. They compare the prices and then they decide based on that. They don't really, I mean, a lot of people may, make the switch to Lyft because of the ethical concerns with Uber, but I don't feel like that's a large population. And I feel like almost like it's a psychological thing. It's somehow like the pink logo and the friendly tone of the messages and the careful crafting of the messages is what makes people feel like Lyft is a friendlier company and that they have drivers and riders both in mind whenever they do things, whereas Uber seems like the ultra corporate black and white logo, staunch corporate capitalist kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know. Just trying to tease it out in my head here. Up to a few here in my area, they're strictly Lyft. Oh, yeah. Lady earlier that I mentioned that was extremely patient because it was horrible. The traffic was insane coming from West Nashville going over to East Nashville. It was ridiculous. There's no other word to describe it. It was absolutely ridiculous, and the police were not helping it, in my opinion. I know they have a hard job. I really do appreciate that, and I do appreciate the service that they provide to the citizens in Nashville and keeping everybody safe and all that stuff. I just, it seems like they are not doing a very good job of controlling the traffic flow correctly. I feel like they could do things a lot better. I don't have the answer, obviously, but I feel like they could do something more to manage this craziness because, and the amount of money that's poured into the city and via tax dollars just from purchases or whatever. I mean, yeah, I mean, I honestly think it might be in my mind, actually. That's okay. Placebo effect is real, and placebo effect can be good. So if you think it's a nicer people and all that stuff, it actually makes you have a more positive outlook, I think, and that reflects in your ratings and maybe even your tips. I've got a ton of tips this week on Lyft. Way more than Uber. Of course, I've done way more trips than Lyft, but still. I feel like if I'd made the equivalent amount of trips on Uber, I would not have received as many tips as I did on Lyft this week either. So, I mean, there's times when I get... this never happens on Uber. Yeah, I mean, Lyft passengers they do seem to be nicer, and I just can't get past that, and it seems silly and it seems naive to think that, but maybe it just is. But anyway, getting back to the point of the tipping, I have never, or very rarely, I may have received a $5 tip on a $3 ride on Uber before. That happened to me several times this week with Lyft. Minimum fare ride, $5 tip. They gave me more of a tip than they paid. That's just kind of cool. Actually, I mean, that's really cool. So, I mean, that happened several times. I may do a video about that, actually. I may do a difference on I think I will, actually. That sounds like a good video topic. The difference in tipping between Uber and Lyft. And yes, I know Uber has not had tipping very long. Yeah, maybe working hard on... I mean, seriously, this week has kind of opened my eyes a little bit and made me realize that I want to drive more for Lyft than I do for Uber. I honestly don't like going online very much with Uber. Anyway, getting back to my point real quick. And then I'm going to get off here and eat. And get back to work. Because I'm kind of dragging my ass tonight. But anyway, I think I'm going to do a video on Uber and Lyft. Uber versus Lyft tips. And yes, I know Uber has only had tipping since, June or something? That's 4 months. But I do or I have noticed that Uber people mention tipping in the app, even if they lie most of the time. But that's what kills me. It kills me that people will say, "Oh yeah, I'll get you in the app," or I can tip you through the app, right? And you'll say yes, and then they proceed not to tip you. So I don't know. It's almost like they feel like they can lie more on Uber. I don't understand. Anyway, but I'm gonna do a video on that, so watch for that. I'm gonna do a video upcoming about the difference between tipping in Uber and Lyft. Don't tip. Yeah. I mean, $5 tips on $4 minimum fares. That's pretty cool. I mean, honestly. Night, Chuck. Hope you have a good night. I'm gonna head out of here. I'm gonna finish my food and skedaddle and get back to a busy area and see if I can get some more Lyft rides. There is that diamond thing that I'm trying to get. If I can get some more rides, I can maybe be able to get a bonus off of that. So I don't feel like this week was wasted. I don't feel like I was deceived necessarily by the guarantee thing. I kind of was skeptical to begin with, but some numbers for another driver. Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love to have that. Actually, if you guys don't mind, I will share my numbers. Honestly, I mean, it does not bother me. Now, I don't keep track of. I don't keep track of the other kind of tips, if you know what I mean. I did for a while, and I just got to the point where it was just too onerous to do that. And if you get a cash tip or something. So I'm talking electronic tips through the app. I feel like that's more fair to compare them that way. Because, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with that, Metroplex. I appreciate that. I may reach out to you, actually. I'm going to try to get that together because I'm going to have to compile some data. And I'm going to try to see if I can, I don't know, it may take some analysis. But I'm going to try to see if I can tell, like when Uber started tipping, I'm going to go back to that date and then go forward and see how many tips I have. I may do a total comparison. I may do increasing over time. A bunch of different analyses, basically, just based on the numbers that I get, numbers I crunch. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will probably do an update on the way home. Just let everybody know how the rest of the night went. There's sirens everywhere tonight. So I'm going to finish eating and hit the road again. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a super duper long live video. It's 32 minutes and 51 seconds. So, yeah, you too, man. I really appreciate your input. And there goes the ambulance behind me, on the street behind me. So you guys have a great night. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoy this. I know a lot of people don't watch 30-minute videos, so I'm out of here, guys. If you're out driving, be safe. Have a good night.